All right. Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time, we're taking a look at The Master Teacher's Law by Zensan Tran.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And we've got the book here.
All right.
It's kind of a mix of philosophies about teaching strategies
Yep.
and real world examples.
Cool.
So get ready to rethink how you approach learning and teaching,
I like it.
whether you are in a classroom, mentoring a colleague, or just guiding your own thinking.
Also, this is not your typical how-to guide.
Yeah.
Tran really digs into the why behind effective teaching,
Yeah.
and he challenges a lot of assumptions about education along the way.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
The book kicks off with a section called The Foundation of a Master Teacher.
Hmm.
And it all starts with this idea of willingness.
Right. The first law, teaching is only for the willing, really sets the tone for the whole book.
Yeah.
It suggests that you can't really force someone to learn if they're not receptive to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like trying to teach someone to swim who is just terrified of the water. You can explain the strokes,
Yeah.
you can demonstrate, you can even give them floaties. But until they are willing to get in the water and try, it's just going to be a really, really tough battle.
It's not just about the student's willingness, though.
Right.
The second law, if the teacher is not willing, end the story.
Mm,
That kind of suggests that the teacher's own passion and curiosity are just as vital.
absolutely.
Like, think about a musician who's lost their passion for music.
Yeah.
They might still be able to play the notes,
Uh-huh.
but the soul, the feeling is missing.
Totally.
Teaching without that inner spark can become a very hollow exercise.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how does this apply to teachers who are feeling burned out?
Mm.
Is Tran suggesting that they should just quit?
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
It's more like a call to action for self-reflection.
Okay.
If you're not feeling that willingness to learn and grow alongside your students,
Hmm.
it might be time to reevaluate your approach. Maybe even explore some other avenues within education
Yep.
where that spark can be reignited.
Okay, so recognizing willingness, both in ourselves and our students, is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when we encounter those who aren't quite ready to dive in?
Right.
That's where the third law comes in. Transfer the unwilling, don't force them.
Yes, and this one often gets misinterpreted.
Okay.
It's not about physically moving students to another class.
Yeah.
It's more about shifting our focus and resources towards the learners who are receptive.
Okay.
It might mean providing alternative learning paths
Yeah.
or recognizing that certain individuals, they might need different approaches
Yeah.
or even just more time before they're ready to really engage.
You've probably encountered this yourself, right?
Oh, for sure.
Think about a time when you were really resistant to learning something new.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it was a subject that just didn't click, or a skill that you felt intimidated by.
Yeah.
And then maybe something shifted.
Yeah.
You know, you found a different approach or the right mentor.
Right.
And suddenly you were eager to learn.
Exactly. Forcing information on someone before they're ready
Yeah.
can create this negative association with learning.
Yeah.
It's about meeting learners where they are
Hmm.
and recognizing that willingness can actually change over time
Right.
with the right conditions.
Yeah. This whole idea of recognizing willingness really reframes how we think about teaching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not about forcing a square peg into a round hole,
Right.
but finding the right fit for each learner
Yeah.
and recognizing that our role is to guide and nurture their natural curiosity.
Absolutely. And that's just the foundation.
Right.
Tran's approach, it goes way beyond simply creating a receptive learning environment.
Okay.
He challenges us to make people think deeply and critically.
Yeah.
And that's where the next set of laws comes in.
Intriguing.
Yeah,
How does a master teacher actually spark that deep thinking?
that's a great question.
Let's move on to the next section, the art of making people think.
Okay, so it all starts with questions. The fourth law, the best teachers ask the right questions.
Yeah.
This is where Tran kind of flips the script on traditional teaching.
Okay.
He argues that instead of providing all the answers, the focus should be on sparking curiosity
Yeah.
and deep thinking through carefully crafted questions.
So instead of giving a lecture about freedom,
Yeah.
a master teacher might pose a dilemma
Mm-hmm.
that forces students to define freedom for themselves
Right.
and grapple with its complexities.
Exactly. A vague question like, what is freedom?
Yeah.
Might elicit a one-word answer or maybe just a shrug.
Right.
But if you present a compelling dilemma,
Uh-huh.
that forces a stance and some personal reflection.
Yeah.
Now you've got them engaged in a way that goes beyond just rote memorization.
Okay, I see how a well-crafted question can be more powerful than just a straightforward explanation.
Yeah.
But how do we make sure those questions have real impact?
That's where the fifth law comes in.
Okay.
The weight of the question determines its power.
Okay.
Questions with real stakes, personal, emotional, intellectual. Yeah. Those are the ones that create tension and drive engagement.
So it's like the difference between asking, what's your favorite color?
Mhm.
And asking, if you could only see one color for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Yeah,
The second question has so much more weight to it
for sure.
because it forces you to consider the impact of your choice.
Exactly. It's about asking questions
Yeah.
that resonate with your students' lives and experiences. And then Tran takes us a step further with the sixth law.
Okay.
The cost of different answers must be shown.
So it's not enough to just ask the question.
Right.
We have to demonstrate how those answers actually play out in the real world.
Exactly. He uses this really thought-provoking example.
Okay.
He says, should a confessed murderer be set free if the only evidence against them was obtained illegally? That's a heavy topic.
Yeah.
How would a teacher even approach that kind of discussion in a classroom?
That's where the art of a master teacher comes in.
It's about creating a safe space for dialogue,
Uh-huh.
providing context,
Yeah.
and helping students explore the nuances of the issue
Mm,
without feeling pressured to find the right answer.
right.
The goal isn't to indoctrinate, but to encourage them to wrestle with the complexities
Yeah.
and recognize that their choices have real-world implications.
That's a powerful concept.
It is.
It reminds me of some of my own experiences as a student,
Mhm.
especially in classes where we were encouraged to debate
Yeah.
and challenge each other's perspectives.
Right.
Those were the discussions that really stuck with me because we weren't just passively absorbing information.
Right.
We were actively grappling with the ideas.
And that leads us to the seventh law.
Okay.
Let the learner struggle before giving resolution.
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah,
It goes against that instinct to jump in and rescue students the moment they hit a snag.
exactly. Tran argues that we need to reframe struggle
Mm-hmm.
as a vital part of learning. He talks about productive discomfort,
Hmm.
that space where students are challenged,
Yeah,
but not defeated.
right.
It's about resisting that urge to give them the answers too quickly,
Uh-huh.
and instead allowing them to wrestle with the material,
Yeah.
experience that frustration,
Yep.
and then ultimately arrive at the solution themselves.
Think back to a time when you really struggled to grasp a concept.
Mhm.
Maybe it was a math problem or a complex theory.
Yeah,
The moment you finally understood it, it probably felt so much more rewarding.
totally.
Because you had to work for it.
Exactly. Those are the lessons that stick with us
Yeah.
because they were earned through effort and perseverance.
Right.
A master teacher understands the power of productive struggle
Mm-hmm.
and uses it to foster resilience and deeper understanding.
This is making me rethink my own approach to learning and teaching. It's not about spoon feeding information, but about creating a space
Yeah,
where students can grapple with ideas,
right.
ask tough questions. Uh-huh.
And ultimately discover those answers for themselves.
That's a great takeaway.
Yeah.
But we've only just scratched the surface of Tran's teaching philosophy.
Oh, no.
His book dives even deeper into the art of engaging learners through intellectual seduction.
Hold on. Intellectual seduction.
Yeah,
Now, that's a concept I need to hear more about.
we'll get into that.
Okay.
And more when we return for part 2 of our deep dive into the Master Teacher's Law.
Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Master Teacher's Law.
Yes.
Before the break, we were about to unravel this concept of
Mhm.
intellectual seduction.
Right. It sounds a bit mysterious.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. And it's where Tran really challenges this idea
Okay.
that just explaining something is enough to make it stick.
Yeah.
He argues that piquing curiosity and creating a sense of mystery
Mm-hmm.
is actually way more effective than just laying out all the facts.
Okay, so instead of giving students the answers right away,
Right.
we create a little intrigue.
A puzzle they feel compelled to solve.
Exactly. Tran contrasts these two hypothetical teachers.
Okay.
One gives a clear, concise, but ultimately forgettable explanation.
Uh-huh.
The other one weaves in a little bit of mystery,
So,
withholding certain information strategically, and it prompts students to kind of lean in and crave the answer.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's like setting up a scavenger hunt for knowledge.
exactly.
And when learners feel like they've uncovered something themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that knowledge becomes much more meaningful
Yeah,
and memorable.
absolutely.
It's like the difference between reading a spoiler
Uh-huh.
and experiencing a plot twist firsthand.
Totally.
Absolutely. And this leads us to the ninth law.
Right.
Reframing is more effective than direct persuasion.
Have you ever tried to convince someone of something
Oh, all the time.
by just presenting facts,
Hmm.
only to be met with resistance?
Yes, it's like talking to a brick wall.
Right. Trans suggests that instead of trying to force our perspective on others,
We should focus on shifting the way they view the issue.
so it's like that classic example of the
Mhm.
glass being half full or half empty.
Right.
Same situation, different perspective.
Exactly. And this applies to everything
Okay.
from solving math problems to
Uh-huh.
understanding historical events
Mm,
to navigating complex ethical dilemmas.
yeah.
By helping students see things from a new angle,
Yeah.
we can unlock understanding in a way that direct persuasion often fails to achieve.
It's like giving them a new lens through which to view the world.
Exactly.
So we've seduced them intellectually.
Mhm.
We've reframed their thinking.
Right.
What's the final piece of the puzzle when it comes to making learning truly unforgettable?
That's where the 10th law comes in.
Okay.
The drop moment makes ideas unforgettable.
The drop moment,
Yeah.
that sounds almost theatrical.
It is. It's about the timing.
Okay.
The careful timing of revealing a key insight.
Uh-huh.
It's not just what you reveal,
Mm-hmm.
but when you reveal it,
Oh.
that maximizes impact.
So we're building up to this big reveal.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating anticipation.
Yep,
And then, boom, we drop this crucial piece of information.
exactly. You've probably experienced this
Yeah.
in a great movie or a book.
Great.
Think about how a well-placed plot twist
Yeah.
can just leave you reeling.
Right.
That's the power of the drop moment.
Yeah.
It's about creating an experience that resonates
Mm-hmm.
and sticks with the learner long after the lesson is over.
I'm starting to see how all these laws work together. They
Mm,
build on each other
they do.
to create this really powerful learning experience.
Absolutely.
But how do we put these principles into practice?
That's where the next section comes in, the master-teacher system.
Okay.
And it all starts with the 11th law.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching is an intellectual journey, not a lecture.
So we're moving beyond the individual techniques
Right.
and into a more holistic approach to teaching.
Right. Tran argues that too many lessons are predictable, like walking down this well-worn path.
Okay.
But learning should be an adventure,
Yeah.
full of twists and discoveries.
It's like the difference between reading a travel itinerary
Uh,
and actually exploring a new city.
Yeah.
One is predictable and controlled.
right.
The other is full of surprises and unexpected delights.
Exactly. A master teacher understands that learning is a process of discovery,
Hmm.
and they embrace the unpredictable nature of that journey.
So instead of lecturing at students,
Yeah.
we become guides,
Or-
leading them through a landscape of ideas,
Right.
allowing them to explore and make their own discoveries along the way.
Precisely. And that ties into the 12th law.
Okay.
The teacher is not the authority. The student's thinking is.
I'm sensing a theme here.
You are.
We're shifting away from that traditional model
Mm-hmm.
where the teacher holds all the knowledge
Yeah.
and the students passively absorb it.
Exactly. It's about empowering students to think for themselves,
Okay.
to question assumptions, and even challenge the teacher's ideas.
That sounds a little scary, to be honest.
Does it?
What if students get it wrong?
Tran argues that making mistakes is an essential part of learning.
Okay.
He believes that by creating a space where students feel safe to question and
Mhm.
explore, even if it means getting things wrong sometimes,
Yeah.
we foster a much deeper level of understanding.
So it's about creating a culture of inquiry
Yes.
where mistakes are seen as opportunities for growth rather than failures.
Precisely. It's about fostering those critical thinking skills
Hmm.
that go beyond just memorizing facts and regurgitating information.
Okay, so we've moved away from the teacher as authority model.
Right.
What's the ultimate goal of this new system? What are we striving for as master teachers?
That brings us to the 13th law. The teacher's role is to awaken minds, not just teach content.
That is a powerful concept.
It is.
It suggests that true teaching goes far beyond simply imparting knowledge.
Exactly. Tran argues that facts are readily available these days. Students can Google anything.
Right.
He says the real challenge is to cultivate a love for learning,
Mm-hmm.
a way of thinking
Yeah.
that will stay with them long after they leave the classroom.
It's about helping students become lifelong learners who
Yes.
can adapt and thrive in a world that's constantly changing.
Precisely. And he believes that this starts by shifting our focus
Okay.
from what students need to know
Mm-hmm.
to how they need to think.
So it's not about filling their heads with facts,
Right.
but about giving them the
Well,
tools and the mindset to navigate a world
yeah,
that's just overflowing with information.
exactly. And that leads us perfectly into the final section of the book,
Okay.
The Master Teacher's Legacy.
This is where we start thinking about the long-term impact of teaching.
Right.
It's not just about what happens within the four walls of a classroom,
Uh-huh.
but about the ripple effect that our teaching can have on the world.
Right. Tran begins this section with the 14th law, the ripple effect,
Hmm.
teaching as a legacy of thought. He suggests that a teacher's true legacy isn't measured by test scores or grades,
Mm.
but by the ideas and ways of thinking that students carry forward into their lives.
It's about the impact we have on our students' lives,
Yeah.
the way we inspire them to think differently, to see the world with new eyes.
Exactly. And he reminds us that we might never witness those ripples firsthand,
Hmm.
but if we teach in a way that sparks ongoing curiosity, debate, and innovation,
Yeah.
our impact can extend far beyond our own classrooms
Right.
and touch countless lives in ways we may never fully comprehend.
This is giving me chills.
Yeah.
It's a humbling thought to think that our teaching could have such a profound
Mhm.
and lasting impact.
It is, and it leads us to the final law,
Okay.
the culmination of Tran's teaching philosophy,
All right, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Right.
What's the ultimate test?
the 15th law,
Okay.
the ultimate test of a master teacher.
Okay.
And the question Tran poses is this:
Yeah.
do your students still remember
Mm.
and apply the lessons years later?
So it's not about short-term memorization for a test.
Right.
It's about whether those lessons have truly taken root
Mhm.
and shaped the way they think and approach the world.
Precisely. Contrast these two hypothetical teachers again.
Okay.
One delivers perfectly structured content
Uh-huh.
that's quickly forgotten.
Yeah.
The other one, their ideas resonate for years,
Right.
influencing decisions,
Yeah.
shaping perspectives long after the student has left the classroom.
It's like the difference between teaching someone to follow a recipe and teaching them to be a chef.
Yeah.
A chef can adapt, create, and build on those foundational skills
Right.
in ways that a recipe follower never could.
That's a great analogy. A master teacher doesn't just impart knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
they ignite this passion for learning,
Yeah.
this hunger to explore,
Uh-huh.
a willingness to challenge the status quo.
This has been an incredible journey so far. Trans Master Teacher's Law really challenges us to think differently about teaching and learning, to embrace new approaches,
Right.
and recognize the profound impact
Yeah.
we can have on our students' lives.
But Trend doesn't stop there.
Oh,
He goes even further
okay.
by challenging us to confront some hard truths
Uh-huh.
about our own teaching
Okay.
and to articulate the core message
Mm-hmm.
that we want to pass on to future generations.
Now, that's a thought-provoking concept.
It is.
It's about defining our legacy as teachers and
Mhm.
ensuring that everything we do in the classroom
Yeah.
aligns with that bigger vision.
Exactly. We'll delve into that
Okay.
and more when we return for the final part
Mm,
of our deep dive into the Master Teacher's Law.
don't miss it. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Master Teacher's Law.
Yes.
We've explored the foundation of a master teacher,
Right.
the art of making people think.
Uh-huh.
We even touched upon that idea of intellectual seduction. But now it's time to confront this ultimate question.
Okay.
What kind of legacy do we want to leave behind as educators?
Yeah. It's a question that Train tackles head on
Yeah.
in this final section of his book, The
Mhm.
Master Teacher's Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't just leave us with these lofty concepts
Yeah.
and inspirational anecdotes.
Right.
He actually challenges us to articulate the core message that we want to pass on to future generations.
He poses a very specific question in the bonus chapter,
Yes.
the moment of truth.
It's a great chapter.
It's almost like a thought experiment. It forces us to kind of distill our entire teaching philosophy down to its essence.
Yeah.
The question is this.
Okay.
One day, one of your students will teach someone else what they learned from you. What idea do you want to be passed on and why?
That's a powerful question.
Wow, that really hits home.
It does.
You know, it's not about what we teach in the moment,
Right.
but it's about those ideas that resonate with our students, the ones that they carry with them long after they've left our classrooms.
Exactly. To illustrate this, Trainum imagines bringing together some of history's greatest teachers.
Okay.
Socrates, Confucius, Maria Montessori,
Wow.
Richard Feynman, Carl Sagan.
Okay, I'm picturing this dream team of educators
Yeah.
all gathered around,
Right.
deep in thought.
What kind of responses might we hear?
Yeah, what would they say?
Well, Socrates, the master of inquiry,
Right.
might emphasize the importance of questioning everything,
Mm,
of never accepting anything at face value.
makes sense.
Confucius, with his focus on ethics and social harmony,
Yeah.
might talk about the need to cultivate goodness
Right.
alongside knowledge.
I can almost hear Maria Montessori,
Yeah.
champion of child-centered learning,
Hmm.
highlighting the power of honoring a child's innate curiosity and
Yes.
creating these environments where they can learn through exploration and discovery.
And then there's Feynman, the
Yeah.
brilliant
Yeah.
physicist,
Right.
who might stress the importance of finding simplicity and clarity
Mm,
in understanding these complex concepts.
makes sense.
And of course, Sagan,
Yeah.
with his awe-inspiring view of the cosmos,
Right.
would likely emphasize this enduring value of wonder
Yeah.
and the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake.
Each of those responses, it really reflects the essence of their teaching philosophy.
It
Like
does.
they've distilled their life's work into a single potent message.
Exactly. And Tran challenges us as educators
Yeah.
to do the same,
Mm-hmm.
to find our own core teaching truth,
Right.
that one idea that we believe is worth passing on to future generations.
This is powerful stuff.
It is.
It's making me reflect on my own journey
Yeah.
as a learner and a teacher.
Uh-huh.
What are those key principles that have shaped my thinking?
Mm-hmm.
What's that one idea that I want to ignite in the minds of my students?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
And Tran encourages us not to do this in isolation. He suggests seeking feedback from colleagues, mentors, even former students.
Interesting.
He believes that by reflecting on our experiences
Mm-hmm.
and engaging in dialogue with others,
Mm-hmm.
we can clarify our teaching purpose
Right.
and make sure that our actions are aligned with our values.
It's like holding a mirror up to ourselves as teachers
Yeah.
and asking, am I living up to my own ideals?
Mm-hmm.
Is my teaching truly reflecting the message that I want to send out into the world?
Exactly. And he goes even further.
Okay.
He says if we can't articulate that core idea,
Yeah.
then maybe we haven't truly been teaching,
Right.
but simply occupying a classroom.
That's a sobering thought.
It is.
It's a call to action for all of us
Mhm.
to be more intentional, more
Sure.
purposeful in our approach to teaching.
And it's not just about coming up with a clever soundbite.
Right.
It's about weaving that core idea
Mm-hmm.
into everything we do in the classroom.
Yeah.
Every lesson,
Mm-hmm.
every activity,
Yeah.
every interaction with our students.
Right.
It should all be infused with that message.
So it's about alignment,
Yeah.
making sure that our actions are consistently reflecting our core teaching philosophy.
Precisely. And ultimately, that's what the Master Teacher's Law is all about.
Yeah.
It's about moving beyond simply delivering content
Mm-hmm.
and embracing this transformative power of teaching.
It's about awakening minds,
Yeah.
sparking curiosity, and fostering a love of learning that will last a lifetime.
And it's about recognizing that the impact of a master teacher
Right.
extends far beyond those classroom walls.
Mm-hmm.
It ripples outwards, touching countless lives and shaping the future
Yeah.
in ways that we may never fully comprehend.
Yeah. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Zensan Tran's work,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
What's that one teaching truth?
Yeah,
That one idea that you want to pass on to your students, to future generations?
it's a big one.
What will be your legacy as an educator?
That's something to think about.
That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here soon for another exploration into the world of ideas.
See you next time.
Until then, keep learning
Keep questioning.
and keep teaching like a master.